What's up, everyone? Welcome to my YouTube channel, and thank you so much to everyone who has already subscribed to the channel. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I kindly request you to subscribe to the channel, because by doing so you're going to be helping this channel reach its initial goal. And the initial goal of this channel is to help us become our better selves through the videos I post on here and through your constant engagement with the channel. So tell a friend to subscribe to this channel. Today I want us to talk about why people in the Western countries should retire in Africa, why they should think of retiring in Africa. This is what I want to talk about today. So the first thing is, Africa is so affordable. The cost of living in Africa is so affordable. Everything you need in Africa to run your life, your daily life, is so affordable. So this is going to be so good. It will be a good feeling. You feel so good when you stay in Africa because of that. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a quick breakdown. Number one, when it comes to rent, the rent in Africa is so cheap. The house that is going to cost you $2,000 for rent, in Africa it will cost you $300. A similar house in a safe place in Africa, it will cost you $300. Because I've had a friend that showed me a house that they were staying in, and it was costing my friend $2,000. And I'm like, this house in my country, it costs $300 in a very safe place. And just imagine how much money can you be saving. It's really too much money, because just imagine, you can be, if the same house is costing $300, you'll be saving $2,000, you'll be saving $1,700. That's what you're going to be saving. So just imagine you're saving $1,700 every month on rent. That's a good deal. You can use this money for something else. So even if you opt to buy a house or build your house in Africa, again, it's going to be cheaper. A house that is going to cost you $200,000 in the Western countries, in Africa, it can cost you like $30,000. $30,000. Land, building a house and finishing it, the same house will cost you $30,000. The house that will cost you $200,000 to own in a Western country, in Africa, it will cost you $30,000. So do the math. How much money is that? You're going to be saving $170,000 getting the same house in Africa. So $170,000, that is too much money. You can use it for something else. Okay, you can use it to even own more property. You can use it to own more property if you still have it, or you can use it to do other things that you need to do when you're retired, because many things you want to do when you're retired may cost you money. And so if you have many things to do, you can use that money to do such other things that you need to do while you're retired. That's a good deal, and I feel like it's a perfect deal. Another thing, in Africa, everyone needs help every now and then. So in Africa, there's too much help. People are really there to help all the time at a cheaper cost. For example, in a house, most people in Africa, it's normal to have house helpers in a house because they are cheap. They are cheap. So you get to realize most of the people in the European in Europe, America, most Western countries, when they come to Africa, they find houses, and most of the homes have house helpers, 1 or 2 house helpers, and they're like, oh, you people have money. No, it's not because they have money, it's because everything is affordable. So you can get a house helper at $30 a month, $50 a month. A house helper is going to come in every day to clean up arrange your house, and make your house feel like home every day at only $30, $50, $40. How cool is that? Because you realize when you're retired, you just want to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You want your house to always look so good, to feel like it's to feel like it's a home. You want to come back in a clean house in case you've stepped out. So it's a very cool thing, especially when you've retired. You really want to have a life that is easier because you've worked all your entire life. So Africa is the way to go. The other thing, like, Africa has fresh air. So just imagine you're paying rent of $300. You have a house helper who is charging you $30 a month, $40, $50, like, depending on what you can afford. Maybe if you can afford $30, you pay $30 a month. If you can afford $40, you pay $40 a month, depending on what you can afford. Just imagine you have a house helper who is good and is coming in to help you to clean up and arrange a little bit of your house every day. Then your house is always clean and neat. You wake up in the morning, open your windows. Africa has fresh air. Just imagine the fresh air is getting in. That will be perfect. It's a perfect thing for someone who has really retired. The other thing about Africa is, like, the food. Organic food in Africa is so affordable. It's so affordable. And the funny bit about it, the food that is not organic in Africa is more expensive. So, and most people need organic food. Like, you need to eat organic food. It's really good for your health and everything. It makes you feel good about life that you're eating healthy food. So just imagine you're in Africa, you can buy organic food at a cheaper cost, and you can afford it with the money you have. Just imagine. It's a cool thing. And another thing about Africa, you can also have that land, buy land that has an area where you can do your farming. So just imagine you can even grow your own food. You're going to be saving the more. Like, you're not going to be thinking about buying food all the time. You're going to be growing your vegetables. You're going to be growing your food. And you can also get someone who can work in your garden, and at a cheaper cost too. And most people work in the garden can charge like $50 again a month. Like, most of the house helpers, because people work in the garden in Africa are also like house helpers. They help homes. So growing food, helping in the garden is also like a form of house help in Africa. So people who work in the garden also charge like $50 a month. They come, they work on your garden every morning, then they work in your garden every morning and go. So just imagine you're living such a life. You're growing your food, you can get your food. You can get your food from the garden. You buy less food because most of the food is good from your garden. That is so cool in Africa. So I feel like, guys, if you really want to retire in Africa, it is a good deal. And all the money you'll be saving, you can use it to do other activities. If you really want to travel, you can keep on traveling all the time. If you really want to do different activities, you can carry them out because you will have enough money that you would have saved to do other activities. Or if you want to stay with cash for emergencies, you can always have it for emergencies because you would have saved by living a life that is so affordable in Africa. And the other thing about Africa that is so cool is, like, people are so it's like a community. People think like a community. It's not like so individual. Africa is not so individual. Like, a community is so helpful in Africa that if you are staying in a place, the whole neighborhood feels safe because people look out for each other. So I remember, like, my friends from the Western countries, they can be asking like, why do you need numbers, why do you need your neighbors' numbers? I'm like, this is Africa. Like, we protect each other. Like, all your neighbors, when you get in a place, you get to go greet your neighbors, you get their numbers. So like, protection is everywhere. Like, you don't need only the police to protect you, but the community also protects you. So that's a good thing. Like, community protects you. It's a community work. Like, people come together in case you have got a problem. People come together, they discuss a problem and see how they can work together to help out each other. So this is also a good thing in Africa. Like, it's a community thing. It doesn't feel like it's individual. So the pressure is not too much. Like, if you feel like you're in this world alone, you're so individual, like the pressure can be too much because it's all on you. But in Africa, the pressure is not too much because in most cases, your problem is your neighbor's problem. So in most cases, people want to come in and help out in case you're stuck somewhere. Your neighbors are really responsible enough to come and check on you and know if you're okay, if you're safe, if there is something, if you need help. So in most cases, it's a community thing. So that's a good thing. That's why sometimes you find like Africans, people have good energy. People always say like, when you come to Africa, people are smiling even if they have less. People are like willing to say hello, they are greeting, they are smiling, because they know the importance of getting to know each other, greeting each other, because this helps you to understand each other and protect yourselves together. You know, like, oh, my neighbor down there works here, my neighbor that side works here, my neighbor that side comes back late. So Africa, in most cases, people know each other around and they know exactly, and this helps out to keep people feel good about life, because they know like it's a community, it's not like individual. So this is a cool thing. So if you really want to retire in Africa, guys, it's really a good thing. And this is where the world is heading. Like, Africa is the next big thing. So if you really want to retire in Africa, please, I encourage you to come to Africa, retire in Africa. And in case you have anything to say more to this, you have any questions, you can comment below in the comment section, and people will continue guiding us on this particular topic in everything. So guys, don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to engage with the channel, because this is going to help us become our better selves. Bye-bye.